Good evening, everybody, and welcome to, I was getting ready to say the wrong name. Welcome to Office. Welcome.
Oh, wow. We haven't even started.
Was you getting ready to say when life speaks or 8 to 8?
I was going the other way. I am telling you, but let me roll that footage back. Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Authors Up, the best place in the world to be on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. And I'm going to start off by saying welcome to my co-host this evening. I am so grateful for these two ladies, Miss Ruth Griffin and Miss Victoria Henderson, because you know what? There are people that you just need to have around you. And those beautiful smiles that you see right there, that's authentic. They make me feel good.
Likewise.
Sometimes you just need to feel good.
Amen.
To feel good. And I'm grateful that I have an opportunity to spend time with these wonderful ladies and you all who have come in this evening. Nikayetta, New York, good evening to you. And Linda Cooks is in the house this evening. Angie Cooks Oliphant is also in the house this evening. And I am so grateful for you guys and all of those who are hiding out there who like to come and sit and listen, but don't want to comment for whatever reason. We know you're there.
Right.
Yes, we do.
Grateful, and we're grateful
to everybody else. So let's have some words of welcome from our two other co-hosts here. Ruth Griffin, let's start with you. Would you like to welcome the folks this evening? I know you do.
Oh, I do. And thank you. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for joining us on another Sunday night. We are happy to have you, and we wouldn't be here without you.
That's right.
Oh. How about you, Victoria?
That is certainly the truth. Good evening to one and all. Good evening, Bronze Girls. Good evening. I'm the Queen. Hey, Leah. How are you tonight?
Hey, Leah.
Grateful to everybody in viewer land and podcast land. We are grateful. We're grateful and grateful you have joined us on another journey, because tonight we get to do our book club, which is something we've never done before. So I always like doing that stuff we have never done before. So, and how are you tonight, Andrea?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good now. I'm going to be honest. I didn't start off so good, but I tell you what, when you got the right people around you, you can flip the script and do
anything. On now. Amen.
Do anything. And that is where I am tonight. And I am so grateful for those that are in my life who can help me do that, can help me maneuver and navigate and get on the good foot and
exactly
keep pressing, keep pushing, put a smile on my face and know beyond a shadow of a doubt it ain't over. It's not done.
That's right.
God is in control. He's in charge. And he already knows exactly where we are, what we need, and how we need to make it happen. So to God be all the glory. That's where I'm going to start this evening.
Amen. Come on now. Drop the mic. And pass the plate.
Jesus. I'm going to put my Cash App up in a minute.
Come on.
Feel free, feel free.
Okay.
But we're going to start this evening like we usually do, and that's with the week in review. We're going to tell you guys what's been happening with us, and we're going to start with Miss Ruth. Come on, Ruth, tell us about that baby coming. I know you got.
Well, I mean, that's all I've been talking about. So
Yes, the baby shower.
yes, we finally got that over and done with. But you know what? You know what? And this is one of those areas where you need to definitely watch your self-talk, because I will be the first person to say, "Ugh, I hate doing this. I'm not good at planning. I'm not good at and I'm
Yeah.
good at it. I just have to say I'm good at it."
All right.
So
that means it went
yeah.
well. It went
Oh
without
my
hitch.
God, it was beautiful. It was just,
Oh.
we showed up, and it's a little intimidating when you walk into a rec room and there are 5 tables and 30 chairs, and you
You
have
got
to
to make
make
it
it
happen.
look like what you want it to look like.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
we grew up in the era where men did not attend baby showers.
Right.
No.
They did not. Now they do. Because we
Right.
had a whole bunch of men there, and my husband was sitting there
Okay.
going, I don't know what to do. So I had to guide him and all the other guys to show up. I'm like, go over there, go do that. And it came out great.
Wonderful.
I delegated the food to my daughter's mother-in-law, and she went above and beyond. And it was just amazing.
Oh.
And it was great because, I saw, we started off with just the families, a couple friends had shown up. And I was like, I want to see mingling. That's it. And I sat down to eat, and then noticed that all the young people were at one table and all the older folks were at the other. I'm like, I guess that counts. So by the end, I think, well, I mean, it worked out because it was my kids and their kids and friends were sitting at their table, and I was like, that's fine. Just old people will sit at this table and chat. So eventually they had like 12, maybe 15 of their friends streaming.
Awesome.
So it was, and just meeting some of them. I had a couple come up to me, and they were just like, oh my gosh, I just wanted to introduce myself. I've heard so much about you. And I'm like, Samantha's talking about us.
Wow.
And
Yes.
one of them came up to me like we were packing up the car afterward, and he was like, can I just give you a hug? I'm like, sure. He was just a really nice guy. So they have diapers to last them probably through December, which is good.
Good.
Yeah. So let's face it, baby showers is mostly there to get gifts.
Yeah.
So
yes.
They did well. And it was really nice. And it's over and done with. And now we've got 27.
Baby countdown. It's countdown to baby's arrival.
Yep.
A little Eminem.
Yep, a little Eminem. So, and while I speak, my sister is actually now in Japan because her daughter is supposed to be giving birth anytime now. So,
wow.
My niece. Yep. So
Awesome.
we are growing our family.
Yeah.
One baby at a time.
We got international babies and things going on here. That's good.
Yes. So
Good.
Yep. So Victoria, how was your week?
Crummy.
Oh, okay.
It was crummy, y'all. It was crummy. I always tell y'all the best thing about the week is starting it with y'all, because this just makes me feel good all of a sudden. Long story short, I just moved, and they did not do some of the things that they were supposed to do before I moved into the apartment. So they had to do some of that. Thursday was our day. So they told us we had to be out of the apartment for 7-8 hours. Get home. The smell is off the chains. It smelled like acetone and nail polish on steroids. I mean, take your breath away.
What were they doing or not doing?
Supposed to restain the tub. So I guess it was, we couldn't stay. I had to go find a hotel.
Oh, wow.
So when I say But it all came back into perspective as I watched a service yesterday for Brother Emmanuel Beatty at church. And, I just had to let it go. I had to let it go because, yes, I was inconvenienced. Yes, I'm trying to fight and get my money back. The smell, we've had all the windows open, things going, it's still a mess. But I'm grateful. Why am I grateful? I have a roof over my head. I have food to eat. Thank God I got paid so I could find a hotel. I wasn't sleeping in my car. So God is good. That's all I can say. So it may have been a crummy week, but God is still good. And I'm grateful to be here tonight. I'm grateful for another new week. We don't know what's going to happen this week, but I know God is with us in each and everything. So I'm grateful. That's all I got.
That's a lot.
That's enough. That's enough.
That's enough, right?
That's a lot.
And how was your week?
My week, I could say, probably rivaled yours on the lousy meter.
It's like that. Life be lifing, right?
Life be lifing. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta flip the script. Like we were saying earlier, and even before we came on the air, you gotta change your perspective.
Yes.
Gotta change your mindset. Because let me tell you now, Ruth was talking about how things turned around and they made the rec room a beautiful place for the baby shower. And I was on this end and I was getting ready to send out invitations to the world's most fantastic pity party.
Okay.
I was in that mode. All of you were going to get invitations, and they were going to be specialized.
I'd have sat right on up to the table with you.
I had stuff to whine about. There's just sometimes you just want to whine for a while, and just turn your face up and get an ugly cry going on for a while, and just just throw in the towel momentarily. Momentarily. And when I realized that you all probably wouldn't come, and if you came, you weren't going to stay, I thought, this is going to be a waste. let me do something else.
See, you know what, though?
Turn this thing around.
Amen.
That's the thing, though, because pity parties are so easy. Misery loves company.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You'd have had your little wine. We'd have brought our little cheese. We'd have had, and it would have been productive.
We could have made it happen.
Yep.
Yeah. We could have made it happen.
Yep.
Yeah, but to what end?
Right.
I don't know. Liv would have come. I know Liv would have come. Nakayana would have got on FaceTime.
We'd have been all crying together.
Got us some tissues. Look, we are resourceful. We can make it work. But I tell you, I am like Victoria. I am grateful. I'm grateful. When I flipped the script and looked at what I was whining about and what was disturbing me, why it was disturbing me, we find that it really isn't as bad as we think. It's not as monumental as we think. It's not as critical as we think. And tomorrow's Monday, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow, the newsletter is coming out tomorrow. And I had to go back and read it myself because the March issue is When Life Speaks, Believe in Yourself.
All right, now.
Go back and reread what God had given me to share with all of you. So if you are signed up, I want you to get signed up and get your newsletter tomorrow. It comes out at noon, and there'll be something posted before that for those of you who may not have the link.
I can't wait.
Because you know what? We need to know how to encourage ourselves
Yes.
One of the things that Victoria was asking me about, how do you shift and how do you change when you're in those spaces? And one of the things that God has given me, and I mentioned it on Thursday, He was saying to me to choose your circle.
All right now.
To choose your circle. It's time to look at your circle. Uh,
Yes.
Select your circle. And
Yes.
he's already begun to write that. I don't know what it's going to end up to be. It may end up being a little pocketbook. It may be, something that goes in volume 3. I am not sure. But whenever he starts to write, he knows how he wants to finish stuff. So I just wait and see what he wants to do. Now, Miss Ruth, I know it wasn't interesting for you, but come on back. I was just talking about. I said I know it wasn't interesting, but come on back. We need you.
I don't know what happened.
I was like, wait a minute.
I don't know what
I had
happened.
to start the show again.
God is good. He's always good, and we never really know. Sometimes when we say you never know what's going to happen when you tune in to others.
No.
That is an example. But like Ruth was saying earlier, this is our very first book club discussion. It is about a book that has become a favorite of mine, and I think it probably is for the ladies here as well.
Yes, it is now.
Not just the book, but the author, one of the co-authors, has definitely become one of our favorite people, and his name is Bob Burg. And we had the opportunity last week to replay the discussion that we had with him originally about this book. Yes. And I do want to ask, we're not going to try to put anybody on the spot, but if you had an opportunity to read The Go-Giver, please let us know in the comments, because we want to make sure that if there's something that you want to say about The Go-Giver, that you will have an opportunity to do that. So this is a little different, of course, than what we usually do. But while Victoria is always telling us, get the book,
yes,
we
y'all had to tell me to get this one
because we had to read the book so we could talk to the author about the book. And this was one of those that for me was on both sides of the fence. And I say that because it was not only informative and fun to read, and the principles were good, and we'll probably go over some of those in a minute or two. But I could see myself in those spaces. I had some aha moments with it. But there were just some places that I went, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And have applied them. They're just thought processes that you want to take with you that you don't even realize that you're getting it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That sometimes you just hear things and they hit you in such a way that you think, oh, wow. You don't even have to say to yourself, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to be that. Right. It just sort of happens. You realize that it's just sort of just, becoming a part of you. So I really, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed talking with him and having him talk with us about the impact it had even on him. Sometimes we forget that as we are writing things to share with other people, they're doing something within us as well. It's like the preacher that says, I'm getting the sermon ready, but I'm the first partaker.
How about that? I think that when we were interviewing him, I remember you guys were so kind of nervous because he was like the biggest name, quote unquote, that we had ever interviewed. And I'm not nervous at all. He's just a man. He wrote a book and he's gonna tell us about his book. And and I was just rattling off and talking to him and blah blah blah. And after it was over, when he clicked off, I was like, oh, this man sold millions of books. Did we just talk to somebody who did? And you guys were just laughing, and I got starstruck after the interview. Millions, not just a million. This book has sold millions of copies
all over the world.
Mind blowing. And he took his time to talk to us, and I think the most memorable part of the interview for me was when he said, 24 publishing companies had rejected the book before he got the publisher that he went with.
Yeah.
24 rejections said the book was trash. Ah! And this book has sold millions of copies with the simple laws, these 5 laws of stratospheric success. Okay, let's just get into it.
Let's find out. So we know how, and we all said before, get the book.
Right.
We all stand by that.
Yes.
On a personal level, what did you think of the book, Victoria?
I thought the book, on a personal level, I saw myself already doing some of the things. And like I told him in our interview, the very first law, which is your true worth, is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. And I found myself already doing that. Like in my paparazzi business, I believe I've probably given away just as much as I have taken payment for. And people have told me, and I said this before too, that they won't go to my website and buy. I have had, I could count how many sales I've had on my website, but they want to come to my live because for them, they said it's the experience of me. Okay, who knew? But I think that is going with those laws that I give. They know that my heart is in it and my joy is in it. And that comes across when I'm showing the jewelry and how I treat my customers. They are people. They are people who are going through things, and I'm careful to always say thank you and thank them for coming to lives and for shopping with me, because they could spend their dollars anywhere else. But I really appreciate it. So the book really gave me some life lessons. It has absolutely changed my mind about some things too. So, but I really love the book, and it is one of those that I could highly recommend. And I haven't gotten it yet. I am still working on my PDF copy, but it is one I want on my shelf. Really, it is. Okay. So what about you guys?
Now I'll say this book, a pastor recommended it years ago, and I looked at it and I went, because it's just not what I normally read, and I love information.
Right.
That's square down. I will read just about anything. But if someone tells me that I have to read something, I will push back and I'll be like, I don't think so. So, but like you already said, I was a little anxious. I was starstruck.
You were
because I knew the level this author was on, and I was like, I actually have to read the book now. So and I'll be honest, it's not the type of book I would normally read.
Yeah.
But it was easy. It was quick. Yeah. And then I started seeing myself in the pages. And I started going, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
I should apply that. I have to remember and go back and highlight this part. I have to go back and read this part. So it was one of those books. And again, it is a short read. But for me, it was, and again, I'm not saying that I would voluntarily pick a book up like this again if I didn't have to.
Right.
But it made enough of an impact on me that I will say, yes, everyone should read this book. So that is on a personal level what I thought of it, which
Yeah.
to me is, I love reading. I love information. And I think that this book is just, it adds more value to your life
Yes.
once you partake of it.
And it was interesting. From the first part of it, how they set it up, I wanted to keep going to see what was going to happen because it just grabbed my attention right away. What about you, Miss Hines?
Well, let me tell you my perspective.
Okay.
Come on.
I really, I had heard about the Go Giver, and maybe I would say at least three leaders that I really, really respect. And just in conversation, had talked about and brought up this book because we were talking about servant leaders, and we were just talking about serving, period. And they said you really gotta read this because it'll just give you a different take on how you do what you do, why you do what you do.
Right.
But like Ruth, I had not read it. I had looked at a little bit of it, kind of put it down, looked at a little bit. But when I realized that he had agreed to come on, I thought, okay, I remember people saying,
Yep.
when you are in the company of great people, don't ask silly stuff. Don't ask things that you can go on the website and look up.
Right.
Make sure that you are getting something of value. And so that's the other reason I was not only starstruck, but I was like, I don't want to come up with some kind of foolish question, and have this man go, oh, these three women, they need a lot of help. They need to Go Giver to get them going.
But he relaxed and was so personable.
He was so relaxed, and he was so just helpful. He was definitely like the chairman. He didn't have any problem sharing any information that we asked him about. And for me personally, I saw when I began to see things that I had done or been criticized for doing, or in understanding that my currency is not a money thing all the time,
right?
And that's okay, because most people, when you start out, they want to know, what are you charging? What's your price point? What's your price? And that's something that I've had a lot of difficulty with over the years, because there are just sometimes that I believe that God is just not leading me to do that. There is a way to do it, and a way to market and all of that. But there is also that flip side of it that says, at the end of the day, I am here to serve someone else somehow. And I just loved it when he didn't get the account he was going for. He didn't get the one that he wanted so badly, but he was willing to recommend somebody else. It was like, I can't do it, but this guy, it would be like me saying, I can't help you publish this book, but Ruth Griffin, Studio Griffin, that's who you need. That's who you want. And not feel that I'm going to lose anything. Because his perspective in the very beginning was always about feeling that somebody was going to take advantage of him.
And now we're talking about Joe.
Joe. If I help this person, aren't they going to then steal my ideas? If I do this, aren't they going to steal my ideas? And I had that moment with my writing, at one point somebody had called me and said that they had seen one of my pieces. I even remember the name of it. It was called Women of Excellence. And she said, I saw it in a gift shop, but it said anonymous.
Oh.
And it was for sale. And the woman,
oh my goodness,
where did you get that from? And she said, oh, I don't know where it came from. And she said, I know where it came from. She said, the writer is Andrea L. Hines, because I have the same piece in my office. She said, if you don't take it down, we're going to have a problem. Yeah. And I thought to myself, God, how do I keep that from happening? You know, how do you give me things and I write them and I put them out there and then somebody else takes credit?
Yeah.
Not for my writing, but for your word. How can I protect myself from that? And he just very quietly said, I'll never run out of words. I'll never run out of words.
Wow.
And at that point, I just settled in and said, you know, if they take it, it's between them and the master. It's not even
How about that?
Yeah.
two of us. But just, you know, thinking about that when I was reading this and just reading, you know, reading through the laws, that we can't be afraid to share what we're given. That's not, he didn't give the thing, the knowledge, and he didn't give the ideas and expertise to us for us to hold them.
Right.
You know, he gave them to us for us to share and not be afraid in that sharing. So that for me personally, I had some little experiences along the way where I could look at these laws and say, oh, okay, that's what that was. That's what that was all about. And that was intriguing to me. I mean, I really enjoyed that. And I thought, okay, you're not as slow as you think.
Were there any of the laws that you guys struggled with finding that did you find it was like, I don't think I could do that, or I'm not understanding this one, or how do I apply that one?
You know, and I will say this, I think all the laws, they begin with what people struggle with today, beginning with the first one. You know, that one's the law of value. Your true worth is determined by how much you give in value rather than how much you take in payment.
Yep.
I don't think that we as a society know what our true value is.
Right.
You know, I am 50 years old. I am back in therapy. I am still working on figuring out my true value.
Right.
And I would say I'm better today than I was even 6 months ago. It's way better than I was last year, way better than I was 5 years ago. But that's still something that I think that each and every one of us struggle with to some degree. And I saw each law building on top of each other.
Right.
And I think if you don't get that first one, you may not get the rest of them.
Good point. That's a real good point.
I think about I think about before we even get into the laws, the very fact that Joe was willing to do whatever it took to get to Pendar. Even in the very beginning. And one of the book club questions was somebody that they had asked was, if it was you, did you have anybody that was like a Pendar, like the chairman who you know had it all? I'll just put it that way, who had it all. You have had the nerve to contact them out of the blue and ask for an appointment. But I mean, let's start there. You know,
I'd probably say no.
No,
I wouldn't have the cojones.
And that's the thing too, because you think about it, you know, for us who are meek, who are quiet, who are lack that type of courage, we've already written ourselves off.
Exactly. We've missed the 5 laws. before we even got started. And
Yeah.
actually, let's think about this for a minute. Getting Bob Berg was not us getting Bob Berg.
Right.
We got Bob Berg because someone else that we interviewed said, applying one of these laws,
Yeah.
what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Remember? What
Yes.
can I do for you?
Yes.
And,
yes.
would it be all right for me to refer an author? And we said,
and I think that would be the law of influence, which is,
you know, that would be fine. We wouldn't
Yeah.
mind that at all. And then he said, well, Bob Berg, who wrote The Go-Giver, and I thought, what?
and I was still clueless. Like, huh? Who that?
You're like, okay, cool.
Bob Berg. I was like, you know, when you get in those situations and you don't want to feel, you don't want to look like you're feeling,
Yes.
feeling surprised, and you just want to sit and go, oh, Bob Berg, that would be very nice. Yes.
And inside, it's like,
The Go-Giver.
yes, Hercules.
Oh, I have to
So
say,
even in the very beginning, we didn't do it.
True.
We did not do it.
It was a God
And,
thing.
and yeah,
It was a God thing.
I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. I
No.
wouldn't.
Yeah. No. Mm-mm.
no,
But
no.
that would have been a missed opportunity because he was saying you would be surprised the
Yeah.
number of people who are very successful people who don't have a problem sharing, but we take ourselves out of the game
Right.
before we even start
By being
Yeah.
afraid.
because of that first law.
Afraid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you know what? And I think you go back to that, and it's one thing I am discovering. I just have to be me. You know,
Right.
I don't have to be Joe. I don't have to be competitive. I don't have to, oh, I got to call this person. I got to call this person. I do it the way I do it.
Yes.
You know, if I have to build myself up over a week just to dial that number and not hang up,
Right.
that's what I have to do. You know,
right.
if I have to write out my little speech, if I have to, however I have to do it, I just have to be me. I don't have to be Joe. I don't have to be Rachel in the book. I don't have to be any of those characters.
Mhm.
I just have to do what I know to do. And if that
Yes.
takes a little bit of courage to make that first phone call, or even to figure out who I am,
Yeah.
I just got to be me.
Yeah,
But
right.
you brought up a good point when you're saying you just have to be you, because that's all we were doing.
Mhm.
We were being three hosts of a show that had an individual on it that enjoyed themselves so much that they opened the door.
Right.
But
Right.
we didn't have to do anything different.
No.
We didn't interview. We didn't go into it saying, oh, well, you know, this guy knows this one knows this one.
Right.
And, you know, if we
Right.
adjust a certain way or say things a certain way, maybe, you know, just maybe we'll get an open door. But that has not, that has been just a pattern, you know, that
Yeah.
God has done for us. And because we, I believe, stay true to ourselves and stay true to our platform, people feel that.
I
And
agree.
they are at home saying to us, you know, I have a person that I think would be a great fit for you guys.
Mhm.
Right.
Great fit.
Yeah.
And most of the time it has turned out to be exactly that. So being authentically who you are and having the principles like he has laid out these 5 laws become a part of you,
Mhm.
then what happens after that is almost inevitable. I mean, I just think it will take you to different levels. And every time I think about it and think about the stories and think about the start, from the lady that made just this amazing coffee
Coffee,
uh,
yes,
in
yes,
the
yeah.
restaurant.
I want to taste that coffee because I've
I
had
know
good coffee, but
I know the
I have
description
had
was so good. I was like, oh my gosh, is this really
honestly,
real?
look, honestly, that just reminded me of the movie Elf, um, where he goes into that coffee shop and he's like, "Congratulations, you have the best coffee on the window." She didn't have to toot her horn in the book, but
Yo, all
that
she
just
had to do
an
was keep
aside.
making her coffee. That's it, and it opened the doors for her.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
I
and it's not always on the path you think. That was the other
right,
thing that I thought was very,
right.
very interesting. That the people who ended up with great success,
hmm
it wasn't necessarily that.
right,
It was the the restaurant guy that was selling the hot dogs, and the greatest hot dogs, but
Yes, yes.
was in real estate.
yeah,
Now, if somebody had told him while he was making those hot dogs, you're going to be in real estate, he
Right.
probably
But
would have
once
gone, "Oh,
again,
okay."
it was how he treated the people. He
yeah,
made, you came up to his hot dog stand. It was an experience. It
Right.
wasn't just the hot dog. It was how he presented it, how he talked to the people, how he remembered. He remembered what hot dog you would like. He remembered what hot dog you like, Ruth. And it was that people
The
aspect of it.
customer service
Yes,
aspect of it.
hmm
yes, that made the difference for him. Now I'm gonna
Yes.
tell you, I struggled with that last one. The last one. The name of the book, Angie, is The Go Giver. It's The Go Giver. By Bob Berg and John David Mann, The Go Giver. It's a little story about a powerful business idea. So it was the last one that got me, which is the law of receptivity. The key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. Now that when the way he wrote it in the book, I found myself going, yeah, 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 yeah. Haven't we always heard all our lives, right? It's more blessed to give than to receive. So that's a concept I struggled with, but as he laid it out and explained it, I understood it. That we have to be open to give. You have to be open to receive back. But
yeah.
always, if you're thinking about, I don't know. Yeah, what was your take
No,
on
no,
that?
no. So, and here's the thing too, because we have been conditioned, especially even as women and
Yes,
women of color, that
yeah.
we no, no, no. Here, thank you. You look beautiful today. What do we say?
Oh, this whole
hmm
thing, right?
Oh,
We
that,
make
oh
fun of
no, I
him,
don't. I just rolled that a bit. I'm fine. Oh, you look like
right?
you lost weight. No, I've been eating. I've been whatever it is. We find a way to push back against it because
Yes,
that is how we've been conditioned.
yes,
So I see it. I see it less as you know we struggle, but we struggle for a reason. And it's just now we have to start undoing it. Yes, the way he wrote it to me was amazing because when you compare it, okay, every day we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide,
dioxide, right?
and then the plants take in the carbon dioxide and breathe out the oxygen. We don't
Wow,
even think about it, but it's happening. We are
wow.
giving and we are receiving. So two sides of the same coin. We just have to start changing our thinking, and I
Thank
think that that's what this book is. Because
you.
I will say, as much as I talked about the value for me, the law of authenticity, when he talked about that one,
The most
the,
valuable gift you have to offer is yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
you start doubting, am I enough?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Didn't he say in one of these laws that you get what you expect? Wasn't that somewhere in I can't remember which one it
So we
might.
have the law of value. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than take in payment. The law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve
Values.
them. The law of influence. Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. The law of authenticity, the most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. And then the law of receptivity.
Receptivity.
The key to effective giving is staying open to receiving.
Yep.
It may have been somewhere under the law of influence.
Mhm.
I think it was somewhere in there when he was talking about, just basically, if you're not expecting anything good to happen, nothing's going to.
Oh
Well, I
wow.
mean, that's you getting what you're expecting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It really is. Um, there's several others out there. There's one that has to do with leaders. There's one that has to do with church, I believe, church and church
Mm-hmm.
growth.
Mm-hmm.
So there are different levels to this, and different ways to approach it. Um, it speaks to, just like you were saying, Ruth, you're better now than you were yesterday, than you were 6 months ago, than you were a
Mhm.
year ago. And what I found Joe doing, Joe was constantly seeking and constantly looking, and with each of the people that represented a law,
Mhm.
they did not stop where they were.
Right.
They were constantly learning, they were constantly challenging themselves,
Right.
to do things a different way. And I thought the whole concept of him saying, you're we're going to do this for a week, there was immediate pushback. Every day, we're going to do this every day. And then when the chairman said to him, yeah, you eat lunch, you're going to take an hour every day. And I thought, we're killing ourselves before we even get started.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Right.
putting up a barrier, putting up a reason why it doesn't work, why it won't work, why it's going to be a problem, instead of just saying, yeah, okay, I can do that. But that's that innate thing in us that we want to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We want to know the answer going in. And I
Right.
like the fact that he didn't get it.
Right.
It was meet me here, and we're going to go do this today. Meet me there, and we're going to do this today.
And he had to put it into action.
I was getting ready to say that he had to put it in practice.
Right.
That was the condition. You have to put it in practice that same day when you learn the law.
And
Yeah.
he was right. He was right. He was telling him, I won't have to put you out of this. I won't have to close the door. You'll do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You'll do it to yourself. And sure enough, when he got started and he started putting up all of these, bricks to build his wall of why not, he could. He could do
Yeah,
it.
and he found out it was easier to do than what he thought.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it applied not just to business, but to his personal
Personal
life. As well.
life. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
It
right.
it is a change in you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a change in you. And I find myself, there are certain books that I will reread
Mm-hmm.
that inspire me, motivate me, whatever. The one that I look at and review every year is called The Book of Purpose.
Mm.
I do that every year because the take on that book was, when we think about purpose, we always look for the thing. And the thing is usually the gift or talent that we have. My purpose is to be a teacher. My purpose is to blah, blah.
Right.
But the Book of Purpose talks about the essence of who you are. I am a person, when you get me,
Mm.
whatever I am comes with me.
Yep.
So you're going to get integrity.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of who I am. You're going
Right.
to get love. It's
Right.
part of who I am. You're going to get honesty. It's part of who I am. So my purpose is wrapped up in those things, and not so much the things that I do gift and talent wise.
Right.
So that's a book that I review every year, some part of it. I may not do the whole thing, but
Right.
I will do some part of it. The Go Giver is
I
on
think this is going to be on the list too, right?
Really going to be on the list. And
I truly enjoyed it. I really.
there's some others that we have done that I think we're going to do the O'Coins book
Yes.
coming up about finance. That's going to be on the bookshelf as
Yes.
one that I'm going to review.
Is that our next book?
That is our next book.
Our
yes.
next book. Okay, good.
So,
Yeah, our next book club book that we hope you will read with us.
yeah. So I think that we and Angie, when I think about when I thought about all this, your slogan for your program, Whole and Beautiful, has to do with information, revelation, and change.
Yes.
And when I look at books like The Go Giver, that's what that exemplifies to me.
Yeah.
Information,
I agree.
revelation,
Right.
and change. And that, I think, was happening with the restaurant person, the chairman, with the young lady who was doing the software for the schools. You know, all these great and wonderful things was because they had some information,
Right.
Yes.
revelation, and
Mhm.
change.
And
it,
what? Wait, my question is, what would have happened if Joe had said, "I'm not doing none of that"?
I think Joe would have lost his job and moved on to something else,
Yeah.
and never understood why.
Right. Right. I
Also
agree.
put a bigger rift in his marriage.
I agree too.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Because he applied it too. Then all she wanted was for him to just listen, and it just touched her for him to just listen.
That's
You know?
it. That's it.
Amazing.
So I think that I think that when you hear Victoria say, "Get the
The
book,"
book.
from here on out, it'll have a little bit more meaning for you.
Yes. Get the book.
Because it really, really is. It was just a solid read. It made me smile throughout. It made me really stop and think
Yes.
about who I am, what I have to offer, what's really important to me,
Right.
what I pray will be important to the world.
Mhm.
So
Well, the millions of copies sold has shown that this book is a game changer. It's a
the
game changer.
Go Giver, the Go Giver. I think it was a good one. I think it was a good choice, ladies.
I do too.
Yes, it was.
Too.
Yes, it was.
It's a
So,
good
And
choice.
I thank you for that recommended reading because it's good.
yes. So,
Absolutely.
mhm. I think that's it.
Good
We
discussion,
are
guys.
at
Good
time.
discussion.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for us for tonight.
Yeah, we could go on and on, but we are
Yes,
a
we
little bit over
could.
time already.
We're going to stop right here. And Ruth, do you want to tell everybody where they can find us?
Sure. We are on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. Search for Authors Up or Authors Up Show. You can catch a replay of this show on Facebook at Saturday at 7 p.m. The show will also be uploaded to our YouTube and podcast midweek. So take us with you wherever you go. You can also email us at authorsup@gmail.com. You got questions, you want recommendations, or you want to become a guest on our show. I will say that we are scheduled out to later in the year. Not a brag, but don't expect a quick add to the calendar. So,
All right, that's a good thing.
yes, no, that is a good thing. And I will say, again, we're going to do this again. We're going to try to do it quarterly. Our next book, we will be posting that up. So make sure you look for that and you can read with us and share with us. Tell us what you think.
All right.
Thank you, Miss Ruth. You're always
welcome.
keeping us straight and inviting everybody else to know where they can find us. I
Sure.
will say this. This is not a one-shot deal. The book is there. It is out there. If you did not get it already, if you have not had an opportunity to read it, your time is not over. You can still find it, of course. And I advise you to do it. I mean, it's just do it for you. Every now and then you need to do some things for you. And this is one of those things, you know.
I agree.
Get the book, enjoy the book, learn from the book. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I really do. And that is it for us for tonight. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for those who are listening and those who are viewing. We appreciate you so much. And we are glad that you have decided to make this a part of your weekly routine, that you would come back and join us right here at Authors Up at 7 p.m. We prove over and over again every single week. You never know what's going to happen when you tune in to Authors Up.
That's
it for the evening, everybody. Have a good night. Have a good week. And hopefully we'll see you right here next week at 7 p.m. for another episode of Authors Up.
Good night,
Good night, ladies.
Good night.
Good night.